I think we all do it. It's easy just to have a moment where we go on our phones, and next thing we know, 20, 30 minutes is gone. Worse if it's longer, and you've just been scrolling and just taking in different content. So today, I caught myself doing that, even out here, amidst all this. And while I was doing it, I just really tried to zoom out and think about the types of content that was getting served to me and what was getting the engagement, what was getting the clicks. And no surprise, and this is what algorithms have learned over the years through learning from human behavior, because at the end of the day, social media sites get paid the longer that you spend online. The more that you are engaged, the more that you comment. These algorithms have found that when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're arguing with everyone out there, you're going to spend a lot more time on here trying to one-up people, trying to win arguments with faces, with people that you've never met in your life. And even worse, half the time, it's a bot as well. And you don't even know what's a real comment and what's a fake comment, or what's just trolling and meant purely to stir engagement. But I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at is it's made me just step back and appreciate and just zoom out from it all. And just think about what we're being served every single day. You guys know my platform, you know my channel. One of the most important things to me is mental health and taking care of the space that's up here. And I think one thing I've learned over the years, and one thing many of us have realized, is that if you really want to have issues up here and you want to just invade your peace and invade your home and your space, spend a lot of time online. Spend a lot of time on social media. Because when you're happy, right, when you're actually feeling fulfilled, you're going to spend less time on a screen. You're going to go out into the world. You're going to spend more time with your friends, with your family, with people you love, versus when you're angry, when you're afraid, when you're constantly glued to the screen. And unfortunately, we're living in an era now where all of this polarizing content, whether it's through politics, whether it's just through the media, through just the content that we consume, this is what's getting uplifted by algorithms. Because algorithms are machine. They're advanced algorithmic intelligence. They're not humans making these decisions. They're just going to promote the things that get the most engagement. So what we're witnessing is the rise of influencers who are incredibly polarizing. The rise of talking figures, the rise of speaking heads who aren't necessarily giving balanced views, aren't necessarily the logical, rational minds, what I like to call the silent majority. They're normally the loudest people in the room, but they're often the minority in the room. But they're getting all the attention. Their content is getting served. Their content is getting promoted. Why? Because it's engagement. And like we talked about, it's keeping you tapped in. It's keeping you online. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to make this video was just to remind myself and hopefully serve as an example to remind you guys that it's important to zoom out. It's important to take time for yourself. And it's important to always remember that it's so easy to get engaged and lost online, but online is not this world out here. Online is not ultimately good for what's in here either. It's always important to have balance. When the internet was invented, when Google was conceived, the access of information for us all, it's like anything. There's many positives that come with it. There's many pros to helping human advancement, to helping our intelligence, our growth, if used correctly. But the problem is that learning from the human mind, knowing how to create addictions, content now has become so incredibly polarizing, but so incredibly addictive that it's not necessarily healthy for you. And I think what we're starting to witness too is as the trolls continue to rise up, as the polarization continues to increase, it's starting to spill out into the real world now. People are doing things in the real world like they would do online, all for drama, all for attention. And I think we're starting to lose a sense of just rationality, a sense of balance. You know, everything has to be so extreme with the misinformation, with the narratives, even with, look at the recent election and the mudslinging and everything that went into that. How divided every single issue becomes. How somehow we can take issues that seemingly seem like they should be nonpartisan and somehow turn it into one side versus the other. And this is what these algorithms identify. And this is what some of these influencers, some of these great business minds now have realized they can do. They can take issues, and if they can twist them into one team versus the other and make it almost like a tribalist conflict, it's going to keep us super engaged and super into it. And, you know, I made my video, Bloody Murder, talking about where have the good leaders gone? Where have the ones gone that we celebrated who set good examples on just how to be thoughtful, how to treat others the way that you yourself want to be treated? Instead, it's like a slam dunk culture where we have to one up, where we have to talk over the other person. We don't actually listen to what our opposition has to say. We don't actually listen and try to engage each other and try to understand each other. You know, we always talk about intelligence from an academic standpoint, from an educational standpoint, but I think one of the most important forms of intelligence that gets so undervalued, especially in today's world of polarization, is emotional intelligence and being able to empathize and being able to spend time to really understand the other side and understand another viewpoint. Because I think true growth and true evolution comes from being able to truly put your perspective in someone else's shoes and understand why they see the world as they do and why they process things from their way. Because we all come from different backgrounds. I mean, we are a massive country in the United States. We're a massive world, you know, billions of people in it. We have such a diversity of backgrounds that, you know, I'm not saying we're all going to sit around a campfire, hold hands and sing Kumbaya. You know, some people are going to clash. Some people aren't going to get along. There's going to be opposing viewpoints. And that's just human history. But I feel like there is a greater majority of people who can provide the balance that is needed to progress ourselves as humans, to progress ourselves and to set good examples in politics. So I just want to take this moment while you're scrolling, you're looking at YouTube videos, you're looking online, just to try to be conscious of the content that you are consuming and what you're getting pulled into. And just think, is this someone I really want to be supporting? Is this a message I really want to get behind? Or am I just doing this because I'm just passively now streaming? I'm passively being led on this content trail by algorithms. You know, I really think we need to start holding leaders more accountable. We need to start holding influencers more accountable. We need to start most especially holding these social media companies accountable for the way that they are affecting our society, for the way that they're shaping human nature, right? It's all business and it's all for profit, but there's rarely thought of morality. There's rarely thought of the true societal and cultural impact. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk in the middle of nowhere. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive. And there's one thing I want to leave you with. It's this. Nothing is more important than your health and your time. We can't get back our time on this earth. So spend it wisely. Spend it with those that you love. And focus on creating those memories that you can never, ever put a price tag on. Take care of yourselves and keep moving forward. All right, everyone.